Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, once again to Virtual Racing Network. Tonight, of course, we're here with the RACECORE Online Racing League, here for the RACECORE Iracing Drivers World Racing Series. As you can tell, we're here at Bristol Motor Speedway for 200 laps under the lights tonight. Should be a great race indeed. So before we get into all the racing details and qualifying coming up here in just a few moments, we of course need to thank all the sponsors that have come on board here for this season for the race and for the broadcast itself. Those do include Global Building Contractors, iRacing Drivers World, and Dan Butler Designs, and coming on recently is Gold Cube. And of course, here on the broadcast side of things, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the following partners. Those that do include Northwest Racing Series, your official one-to-go sponsor here for tonight's race. Walls Beard Co., Beard Balm, of course, your official starting grid sponsor. SimSpeedShop.com. We'll talk a little bit more about that here in a minute, what we got going on with him. Eyeball, your official graphic sponsor here for VRN. And of course, coming on here recently, RACECORE Online Racing League themselves coming on board. We got about 2 minutes to go, but we want to introduce a special person here. They're not new to the scene, but they are here tonight to help us out for this 200 lap race. And that is the one and only Jeff Stabno. So, Jeff, welcome back to the booth.
Hey, Charles. Great to be here, man. Been a little while since I've been back with you and this crew, and miss these RACECORE guys and calling races with you. So, thanks for having me back tonight, man.
Well, definitely, it's going to be a great race in 200 laps around this track. But we'll have another 5 minutes to talk about all that here in a second. But coming up now, of course, is your national anthem. So we'll be right back after the national anthem with qualifying.
We take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to drop down to the tracks. It will not take very long for these drivers to get out there. We're going to go to, of course, TV1 as we will bring qualifying up onto the screen. As you can see right now, we'll pull up the driver bar. You're watching Jason Covington in the number 10 machine as times have already started to come in, and Brandon Dorsett at the top of the charts with a 14.480. So roughly, we're going to be running 4 laps a minute around this track. As just like that, Jim Locking it takes to the top of the charts. And then a 91 machine with a blistering 14.444, 0.036 faster than Brandon Dorsett. But I don't think it's going to take these guys too long to qualify here, so we'll have time to go over some racing details. Jason Covington sitting in third place right now with a 14.560, as David Gainforth in the 101 machine taking it to the top of the charts with a 14.387. That is the only 0.3 time here tonight so far. We'll see Jareer Muhammad not coming out. There he is coming out onto the track. Scotty Zerk just went to second with a 14.419. We really need to watch the two here of Jareer Muhammad to see how he does on the short track here tonight. Keep in mind that due to an end-of-line penalty, Mikey Neal, the only one receiving that, will not be qualifying here tonight. He will start at the back of this field, and that is going to be very interesting for him to try to start his way from the back and work his way through this field. This is not the ideal track to want to do that at, as it's going to be a lot of beating and banging and door slamming, as Jareer Muhammad takes it to second with a 14.405. Craig Covington is not quite on the track yet, but Matthew Ellis is in the number 6. We'll see what he puts in for his first timed lap, as he's going to be doing so this time by. We'll just have to wait and see. Right now, of course, David Gainforth in the 101, sitting on pole with a 14.387 and just running a 14.467 is Matthew Ellis. So he is currently sitting in 5th place here in qualifying. We'll see where he stacks up if anybody else does come out. But so far, Craig Covington with a 15.194. Nobody else is coming out onto the track here at the moment. He's sitting on pit road. So it looks like, of course, Mikey Neal not going to be coming out due to an end-of-line penalty. And it looks like Josh Coley and Brian Dorsey are going to opt to stay on pit road and not come out. But they still have a minute 47, so they still have time to do so if they want to. It's looking here at some more times that you can see on your screen as well, as we have 21 drivers that have made the trip here. The top 20 show up on your screen. Obviously, Butch Frazier back in 17th, Justin Spear 16th, Sterling Smith, someone we'll be watching. We know he's fast, right there with his teammate in 14th, Brandon Young, and Sterling Smith. So those are two drivers we'll be watching for here tonight as well. Justin Starr currently 10th place. Right beside his good buddy Dan Butler in 11th. So two another great drivers to watch here. We got John Van Verellis in 13th. Jeremy Morris, 12th place. He's a newer driver. We haven't seen him too many times, so he will be a new face here to watch. He has been here for a few races, but still newer compared to some of the others. Obviously, we know Butch Frazier's here, Scotty Zerk, and these guys up in the top. Scotty Zerk, David Gainforth, to my knowledge, that is his first pole here in the series, and maybe period in this league. I'm not 100% sure on that. I can't confirm that. We'd have to look at the records. But I do believe this is his first pole here, and he is still the only one to run that 14.3. We'll see, is that just a heater, or is that going to be a lap he can consistently run? And if he does have tire wear, or when he has tire wear, will that consistently be a little bit faster than everybody else? Alright, sorry about that. Had to take a cough fit there going on, but looks like that is going to do it. The time is running out. Qualifying is officially going to be over now. So we will move on to your starting grid coming up here in just a few moments. We will take 2 laps around this little tiny track, as it is only 0.52 miles long, roughly a half mile, but 100 miles around here. Technically 103 according to this. We have 200 laps around this monster of a track. It's going to be a big one.
Yeah, this is 200 laps around this can feel like a long time, man, but with these laps take away at 14 seconds apiece, Charles, it really kind of flies by. We're talking 4 laps a minute. Assuming, if this race were to go green all the way, it would take less than an hour. And, being that it's such a short track, the cautions actually don't take us that long either. So I think this will go a lot faster than anywhere else I can think of with a 200-lap race.
Yeah, definitely will. And looks like they are rolling. Jeff, you want to go ahead and run through our first 5 rows here, and then I will finish this off.
Yeah, absolutely. On the pole, I've got the 101 of David Gainforth. Starting in P2, we've got the number 2 of Jameer Muhammad. In third place, row 2, we've got the 31 of Scotty Zirk. And outside row 2, we've got the 91 of Jim Locking. In row 3, starting on the inside, we've got the number 6 of Matthew Ellis. And outside him, we've got the 80 of Bruce Clay. In row 4, we've got the number 5 of Brandon Dorsett starting on the inside. To his outside, we've got the 24 of Brian Bazell. And in row 5, we've got the 10 of Jason Covington. And starting outside him, rounding out your top 10, is the 99 of Justin Starr.
In row 6 is going to be the 21 of Dan Butler and the 57 of Jeremy Morrison. Row 7 is going to be the 78 of John Vanderellis and the 51 of Brandon Young. Row 8 is going to be the 50 of Sterling Smith and the 77 of Justin Spear. Row 9 is going to be the 555 of Butch Frazier and the 96 of Craig Covington. Row 10 is going to be the 8 of Mikey Neal receiving the EOL here for tonight, and the 33 of Josh Coley, the first one not qualifying of his own behalf. And rounding out the field in row 11 is going to be the 9 of Brian Dorsey. And just in time, that will do it. Green flag is in the air, and we are racing for the first time here at Bristol.
Yeah, absolutely. Restarts on this are crucial. Your tires can usually only handle so many laps running that outside line and actually have any speed coming off that corner. It doesn't take long for them to give out. Guys are looking for that top line, which is where you're going to carry the most speed around this track.
And I'm shocked to see here, David Gainforth was the only one that ran a 14.3 in qualifying, but not surprised to see, look who bolted to the front very quickly. That 2 of Jameer Muhammad. He started in second, and he just immediately jumped there. So I think that outside lane may be somewhere we have to look for tonight to see some passes made.
Obviously, if you want to make moves, you want to get to that outside row. Once these tires wear, you carry so much more speed. We've got progressive banking here, which means we've got more banking up against that wall, which means the cars can carry more speed, not to mention it's a bigger radius. But with the additional banking, the bigger radius, you carry so much more speed coming off the corner running up high. It's almost impossible to slide up in front of somebody, give them the old slide job on the inside row unless you have fresh tires. That said, the last time I did a race with you here, one of the few guys I've ever seen make that inside row work late in the run was, he happens to be in this very field. Mikey Neal is one of the guys I've seen make it work on the inside. Still not sure how he did it, but something to watch for later as we see him come through the field.
Yeah, and that's a point to bring up there is he may need to find what he found last time to do that again, because that point coming through the field, receiving that end-of-line penalty from last week's race, he literally started dead last as we have a big caution here between the 31 of Scotty Zirk and looks like the 5 of Brandon Dorsett getting together. So caution number 1 is out on the track, so we'll go back and take a look. I'm not sure what happened between these two as we got the replay going. It looks like the 31 had already collected the wall and just got loose. So I believe, there you will, the 31 just gets loose and brings it around, and the 5 there to help him out a little bit.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm a little late getting set up here, and as always, whenever we load up this technical stuff, when it's been a while, it takes me a little bit to get rolling here. So I can watch the live race, but not able to get to replays yet.
Well, it definitely wasn't too big of a thing to watch there anyway, but something to watch here is we're coming to pit road here as we will go back to live real fast. From about 5th place on, came down pit road, but Jameer Muhammad, Jim Locking, and David Gainforth, and Brandon Dorsett, your top 4 drivers, opted to stay out on the track and not come down pit road, while everybody else behind them did come down and take tires and fuel.
Well, that's how important track position is here, right? We talked about having to get yourself firmly up in that outside row. After those tires wear off in a few laps, it's so hard to pass on the inside that many times it's worth just getting up front and trying to get that top row. I mean, it's so hard to lose spots once the tires wear a little bit. That track position is very important here.
It definitely is. And we'll see well it shakes up here. It looks like Mikey Neal is sitting in 11th place right now. So even after coming down pit road, he did gain a few positions. And that is crucial because the one thing about this track that you were talking about how track position is important. It is important because of the fact that, you know, when you see a wreck in front of you, this is one of those tracks, unlike Daytona or Talladega, where it's so wide and you have room to avoid it. This track isn't that wide. You do have some banking down low that you run off where you can go, but there's not a lot of room. If a wreck happens on the front stretch or the back stretch, if it involves 2 to 3 cars, the whole track at that point is pretty much blocked. So you're probably going to get involved in it somehow.
Yeah, you know, this track is about as far away from a Daytona or a Talladega as you can get, but you're absolutely right. And just the way you get, there's just no room. I mean, 14 seconds to get around this track. There's really no room to get out of the way. You're either ahead of the wreck or part of it.
Yeah, you definitely are. And you do not want to be part of that, as it can ruin your night here very, very quickly. And for the, you know, I hate to keep bringing up Mikey there, but, you know, we don't want to harp on him too much. We'll see him get through the field, I'm sure, and we'll be talking about him soon enough. But I do want to point out, too, that this is his very first league race. He actually is using a VR headset tonight, too. And, you know, I have a feeling this will be one race, regardless where he finishes, he'll be just ecstatic just to be running that VR headset anyway. So he's out there having a blast no matter where he's at tonight.
Hope so. VR is definitely different. It takes a little bit of getting used to. It can be a little bit buggy when first set up, so hopefully he's got work through all that and just gets to get out there and just enjoy the immersion that comes along with it.
Yeah, it definitely will. The green flag is back out in the air, and this time Jameer Muhammad still is leading this race. Behind him is Jim Locking and Brian Bizzle. Those two are going to be duking it out. And then you have the 57 of Jeremy Morrison, who is a newer driver here, so we haven't seen too much of him, but a few races. So I'll be looking to see how he you know, handles with some of these veterans out on the track. Take a look here. Might have somebody off pace. I thought we did, but we don't there. Big wreck. And no, there's the caution. Right as we were talking about it, a huge pile up back here towards the back of the field, taking out about 6-7 cars. Let's go back and take a look and see what happened here. As the 6 gets to the wall there a little bit, but I don't think it started there. We'll see where this exactly started at. And I am still not sure where it started. We're trying to figure it out. Oh, the 50 and the 99. Let's go back and take a look. Sterling Smith. Let's take one more look at that here and see what happened to the 50 of Sterling Smith to get him involved in this. And we'll see. And trying to figure it out. He is here running with the 8 of Mikey Neal. And the 51 as well, Brandon Young, his teammate. Oh, Mikey Neal getting into his car there. And that is it from there on. Just like we talked about, more than 3 cars in the entire field. It's completely blocked off. These cars had nowhere to go but into each other. So they just stack up and pile up here on pit road, and these guys do not have fast repairs. That is what we were talking about. That is why track position is so important here in this race. Oh, they definitely do not want to be back there. That is exactly why you do not want to be back at the back of this field. All right, while we have a minute here, Jeff is resetting there to get some stuff. Then it looks like he lost connection, so hopefully he'll be back here momentarily. We are on lap 19 of 200. He was having a little bit of feedback there. He's trying to get that sorted out. But we want to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight. whether you're on the YouTube side of things where we call home, here on the Facebook side, or in some cases I see some of y'all over on both of them. So big shout out to everyone that is here. I know we got a lot of people over on the YouTube side. To all our loyal fans on both of them, thanks for tuning in here tonight. As those lights are still on right now, this race is being led by the two of Jamir Muhammad, putting on a great show for you here tonight. While we have a moment here, let's go ahead and pull this up here real fast. We'll get some track facts in for you here tonight. There you see it. We have the 91, the 99, the 57 on pit road. And we have a few drivers that are on the track here as well. It's Bristol Motor Speedway, 4 turns, 0.52 miles, 200 laps, 103 miles is how long the distance for tonight's race is. Your track temp sitting at 82 degrees. Your air temp 81 degrees. Wind 2 miles per hour out of the east. We'll see how that goes later on tonight. If that track temp does go up or down here throughout this race, we'll go ahead, of course, and get rid of that for you here and bring up some track facts here for you before we go live one more time with the green flag. Your fastest lap is a 14.454 by Jamir Muhammad. His average lap there for that, or speed for that lap was 128. As there it is, a green flag is about to wave once again, and there it is. Green flag is back in the air. We are racing once again, and what a start for Jamir Muhammad as he gets off to a blistering fast start here. Go back here a little ways. You got Mikey Mills, Jim Locking battling side by side, as well as Jeremy Morrison and Brian Bizzle. And it looks like Mikey Mills going to take fourth place away from Jim Locking. As they are battling, they were battling anyway. They have pretty much sorted that out now. As we'll go here, let's go a little way through this field. Back here, you got the 5 of Brandon Dorsett, who did have issues earlier, involved in an early caution, but here he is running pretty good. Still has some damage, though, as he's unable to get that fixed. So he does, unfortunately, have to run with what he has there, going just a little bit ahead of them. You have John Van Varellis, Justin Spear in the 6th. They are battling for kind of track position, but not really. The 6 is currently 1 lap down. Justin Spear on the lead lap. So this is not a position for, or battle for position. As somebody just scraped the wall or blew up. I believe that may have been the 31 back there of Scotty Zerk, as he is losing power quickly, only 53 miles per hour, so that engine has expired. We saw that little puff of smoke, and is he going to be able to make it to pit road? This is the question. It looks like he will indeed be able to make a pit road, so his night is done. He is going to have to pull it. He's off the track, so he will not bring out a caution here, even if he does have to tow. So unfortunate for him that he will not make it. But we go back to the front here. There is your race leader, the 2 of Jamir Muhammad. He has led several laps so far here tonight. Let's go back to second place. We've had one leader, of course, and that is Jamir Muhammad. That's the guy running him down right there. The 24, Brian Bizzle, trying to make it happen here tonight in that number 24 Haviline machine, if he can possibly do it. We'll be waiting to see if he can. Jeremy Morrison, again, the driver we don't necessarily have not seen as much as some of these. He's a newer driver to the series, but he is putting on a show here in third place. We'll see. We're going to go a little ways back here to our pole sitter, David Gainforth, in that 101. He is struggling here. Ooh, he gets to the apron, almost gets the outside wall. Now he's got the 96 right behind him, but again, the 96 is currently 1 lap down of Craig Covington, so that is not a position that he has to battle for too hard. Even if he was to lose it, it wouldn't matter too much here, as it would not cost him a overall position in the standings. So you've got to pick and choose your battles here to know where things are. And there is the caution once again, and it's going to be for the 80 of Bruce Clay going around. Let's go back and take a look. What happened here to the 80 of Bruce Clay as the caution is out once again here at Bristol Motor Speedway under the lights. And maybe he just got loose. We'll see. Did he have help? Or was this all on his own? Right there, bump to the back from the 78 of John Van Rellis, and he goes around. He takes it to the apron, but still the caution does come out. And that will put us under caution once again, and everybody is coming down pit road this time. Jamir Muhammad has opted to come down pit road, and looks like going to be a clean stop for him. We'll see. The right side's going up. Will the left sides go up? I would imagine they probably would. David Gainforth getting into his stop. So 4 tires and fuel for our current leader. Our pole sitter is sitting on pit road. He'll be getting off here shortly, but Jamir Muhammad on and off pit road first. He is your only leader of this race, as again, he took the lead from the start of this race and never looked back. So we're going to step away for a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen, and Jeff having issues here with Iracing not wanting to let him in. We think we may know what it is. We'll just have to wait and see. He'll be testing that. Hopefully we get him back later on tonight. But issues going there for him, so it's unfortunate. We were looking forward to having him back tonight, but unfortunately he is looking like he's not going to be here with us. But Jamir Muhammad is your race leader. Green flag back in the air once again, and we are racing here for the RACECORE Online Racing League, the RACECORE iRacing Drivers World Racing Series. As we're going to go further back here in the race, we'll see Mikey Neal putting on a show for you here as he gets by the 57 of Jeremy Morrison. Also, keep in mind while you're watching the race here, we have new features up in the top ticker for you. So if you're wanting to know where your driver is in this race, you do not have to look too far. We no longer just show the ticker or the interval there as the caution is back out. We'll continue that here in a minute as your pole sitter, the 101 of David Gainforth, involved in this one. Let's go back and take a look. What happened here? I know he wasn't alone as somebody else was involved in this. Well, let's take a look and see what happened to the 101 of David Gainforth here to bring out the caution once again. We will see. Oh, right there. I'm not sure. Let's take another look at that, because I'm not sure exactly what happened there. Missed it myself. It happened so quick here. I'm not too sure he didn't just break loose, because I didn't see any contact happen. As we'll see right in here's about where it happened. It looks like maybe the car just broke loose. He goes into the corner, and right there catches a clip of the apron, but that ain't doing it. Oh, yeah, that definitely netcode. The 51 did not touch him. Unfortunately, netcode causing an issue here tonight for that one, because there was zero contact between the 51 and the 101. But it was close, but there was no contact. And looks like we do have Jeff back here. He's getting things sorted out, so we'll let you know when he is officially back here. We're getting some stuff sorted out. We're under caution once again here for the 4th time for 17 laps. We've had 0 lead changes, as Jamir Muhammad has so far led every single lap of this race. And again, I'm just not sure if anyone is going to have anything for him here tonight. The 24 has been right there with him. Mikey Neal coming through the field from last third. So he's somebody we got to watch. Is Brian Bizzle having a connection issue here? He is being shown as out of the race all of the sudden. So hopefully he can get that sorted out. But he is dropping through the field right now with a connection issue. Again, hopefully he can get this sorted out, because he is one driver I think has a shot, or one of the drivers that has a shot for our race leader here tonight. And he was also there. He just did drop connection from the radio communications as well. That is unfortunate here, as he was also our inside source for laps here for fuel, which has gone out the window anyway, but we were getting from him 75 to 90 laps on fuel, depending on how hard you ran and how hard you conserved. But our inside source for the fuel has now dropped out of this race. Well, we will see if he makes it back here. He's being scored in 14th now. We want to, of course, once again thank everybody for tuning in here tonight. We're on lap 45 of 200, so we're just about a quarter of the way through this race. We will be there very quickly. Of course, we've been here on the air for just about 40 minutes. So pretty good racing here in the 40 minutes. We've seen a few cautions, but some really good racing as well. This is going to be very interesting, as it looks like we do have Jeff back. Just in time, too, Jeff. We got Jamir Muhammad and Mikey Neal starting first and second right now.
We'll give it a shot. Sorry to leave you hanging there, Charles, but it looks like I missed quite a bit of action there. I saw somebody just netcoded out, so I feel bad for them, as I've done that about 4 times here in the last few minutes.
Yeah, it's definitely running second, too. That is like the worst place, other than first. That's about the worst place you can do it. And if you're in the back of the field, it's, it still stinks, but it's not quite as big a deal. But for Brian Bizzle, he might have had a shot to win this race. Just had to try to get by Jamir and hold off Mikey. And he had a fast car, and that is, it's just extremely unfortunate for him.
Well, watching the restart here, Jamir got shot out of there like a cannon, so obviously he was controlling the restart there. But Mikey Neal looked like he was going to struggle to clear Jim Locking for a minute, but able to get by him, and now he's kind of putting a gap between him and Jim Locking, and looks like he's got his eyes set there on Jamir Muhammad. So if you don't mind my asking, how did Mikey get from the front to the back while I was gone?
Oh, we did have a few cautions that helped him out a little bit. He was able to get on and off of pit road faster than anybody else, and that got him up to about 11th. Then we had another caution that gained him a few spots. So in the last 2 cautions, he has used pit strategy to his advantage. Although that last pit stop, he had a 16.8 stop, so he actually had a fairly slow stop, but still was able to make up time here and gain some positions.
We got another caution out, so we'll see if we got another chance now. Always interesting. I don't know. Do we have a lot of guys staying out for track position there on the last few pit stops?
The last few we've had, no. Actually, everyone has pretty much come down pit road, and we haven't seen too many people staying out. So I think they've got the message here that while track position is important, I think they know these tires are important as well, as we just watched the caution there. And the 6 is still sitting on the track here, has not taken off yet, so I'm not sure what's going on there. but he is still sitting on the track, so we'll go ahead and go to our leaders. This time, again, everybody's coming down pit road to get 4 tires and fuel.
Yeah, we got a couple guys still out there, but I think those are lap cars, so I think you're right. I think everybody's either taking a wave around or going to be a lap car there, so I think all of our leaders, lead lap guys, did come down.
Yeah, they definitely are. And while they are getting 4 tires and fuel here, and we'll have at least another lap or 2, we're going to step away real quick, and we will be right back here in just a moment as soon as we get that green flag going one more time. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, here, as we got a nice little battle going on here for second place. We do have a new leader, too, as we got the Krispy Kreme, number 78, John Van Verellis, out front, as he did not come down pit road. So we had one taker that did not come down pit road during this last caution, and I have a feeling he's about to get eaten alive by that 2 of Jameer Muhammad.
Run that high line, man. Stay in that throttle coming up the corner and hope their tires wear down first. And you can make that track position pay off. Easier said than done, though.
Yeah, definitely track position can work for you. I don't think it's going to work for him too well, though, as right about now, with 15 laps on theirs, we've seen these tires wear off quite a bit. He's probably wishing he had got tires, because I'd imagine those tires are probably feeling about like Krispy Kreme donuts right now, soft and real low on grip as the caution is out. The 57 being involved in this, so let's go back and take a look. And I'm pretty sure he had help. I'm just not sure who it was with here, as we're going to watch the replay, find out.
Kind of hard not to have a little bit of help in races here. It's kind of like a mini little Thunderdome there.
It is indeed. Oh, and Josh Coley, the 33, gets to his back bumper, and that will get him around. Josh Coley didn't get too much damage on it, and it was only just a little quarter panel. It was a very, very slight touch, but the 33 getting to the back bumper of the 57, bringing out the caution once again. So this time we have mixed emotions. We have people coming down, people staying out. So it's about every other caution we get. It seems like drivers stay out and then some drivers come in.
Only a couple laps on those tires, man. If you got the track position, you want to stay out there and keep it. I think the Krispy Kreme did not want to see a break there. They wanted to get a few more laps on these tires so everybody would have to pit. Because it's such a gamble out there trying to figure out the whole track position thing, man.
Yeah, it definitely is. You just never know which is going to be the gamble. Coming to Bristol, to me, is, in my opinion anyway, one of those tracks kind of like Las Vegas. Everyone talks about how when you go to Las Vegas, they make the jokes about you gamble when you go to Las Vegas. You're there. It's a gambling city. You kind of do that same thing here, even though we're extremely far away from Las Vegas, in Bristol, Tennessee, of course. But you gamble. Do you take those tires? Do you go for the fuel or the new tires, or do you stay out for the track position? You really throw a gamble in there because, as we're seeing here tonight, you have several cautions. But on the flip side, last time they were here with the Xfinity car, they went, I believe, one caution or caution free. So you really never know what you're going to get when you come to a track like this.
You can make track position work here, but you can't be timid. You've got to be willing to run right up against that wall and stick your foot in the gas before you even think it'll take it. You can't let somebody clear you, going down that straightaway or just coming off that straightaway. They got a shorter radius on that corner. This higher bank on that outside, it'll hold you more than you think it will. But you got to be comfortable. You got to have enough laps there, and if you can do that, you can make track position work on old tires.
Yeah, you definitely can. You can make it work. We'll see here if Jamir Muhammad's going to make it work. Of course, the first one out on fresh tires, I want to point out, is the 78 car of John Van Varelis, who was the leader coming before this caution. He was the leader. He pretty much lost it to Jamir, but he's the first one on fresh tires. So if this goes long green flag run, 4 tires under caution versus about 8 or 9 under green and 4 under caution, that will play a factor. The question is, how much faster is Jamir than the rest of this field, and does anybody have anything for him tonight? So far, we've seen, obviously, the 24 had something for him, and then he disconnected. So Mikey Neal looks to be the next one to give him a shot, but Jamir's been getting really good starts, and I have no doubt about this one either, as he gets another great start.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, with fresh tires it matters, but the more laps we get on those tires, the less it matters. So the longer they can make this work on those older tires, the less ability people are going to have to take them on the inside.
Yeah, definitely is. And you just got to keep working and plugging away here. So this is a different scenario. We talked about it earlier, how now Mikey Neal's running VR headset. So this is a totally different ballgame for him to be running down somebody in VR. And we'll have to see how it does work for him, if he's able to get up there and get it. As we just could report that Iracing crashed for Jeff, so unfortunate it keeps crashing for him. We'll try to get that sorted out, but racing in the race or not, Jeff, you can attest to what it's like to be racing with the VR headset.
Yeah, it's different. That's all I can say. I mean, your view is more like you're in a helmet. You can look side to side, see cars beside you, but probably most importantly is you get a sense of depth perception. And so if you're trying to run somebody down on a track like this, or running right on their bumper, or trying to time to move or something like that, I feel like you have an advantage because you get that three-dimensional depth perception with VR that you just can't get on 3 monitors.
Yeah, you definitely can. 3 monitors, obviously, that was, 1 monitor was the way to go back in the day. Then it became 3 monitors, and then even before VR, people started using extra monitors to have apps and stuff on it. And now it's all about VR. That is the way to go. Doesn't matter if you have the full cockpit or anything like that. It's really VR is the way to go on iRacing. it gives you, like you said, so much more depth of field here. You can literally turn your head, see what's around you, and you don't have to keybind something to look sideways, and you can't look straight. You can actually turn your head, look to beside you, and still be looking forward all at the same time. So it's basically like being in a car.
It really is, but it can also be distracting because much like being in a car, you see things that you didn't see before. I mean, hard to explain, but there's some details and nuances here in ice racing. I mean, the on-track billboards and stuff, they've got commercials playing on them, and there's just more things to distract you, especially the first couple times out there in VR, and of course, they can be a little buggy. So, you can get some glitches and some freeze-ups and some hang-ups, and that can just totally mess you up.
Yeah, and as that a caution is out here for the 21 of Dan Butler, let's go back and take a look here. As it's been a trend here. We get about 4 or 5 laps in, and maybe 6 to 7, and then we have a caution come out once again. That has just been the trend here tonight that we've been setting. As we're looking to see, a little bit of a bump / netcode. I think that may have actually been a bump there from the 21, but it was very close. And luckily the 21 of Dan Butler keeps it out of the wall. Everybody's coming down pit road once again, of course. We are going to step away, though, for a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and of course we are checking chat all the time. We do see Mike Neal question in there. Can it intimidate you? We are assuming that is about VR headset, and I, for one, would not know because I use 3 monitors because I'm old school. So, Jeff, we know you do, of course, so we'll let you answer that question.
I don't know about intimidating, but you can forget that you're watching screens. Like I said, the immersion is real. And so you can, you'll flinch. If you see I've seen chunks of rubber coming at me. I don't anymore, but for a while, I'd like move my head to try to, like a chunk of rubber or dirt clod or something was going to hit me. So, there's that reflexive part. If you see an accident happen in front of you or something, your heart may skip a beat, I guess. As the reflexes kick in before your brain realizes and reassures you that it's all fake. So I don't know about intimidating, but you can, you certainly can react to it in a way that might not be good for racing, right? You can make a reflexive reaction with a wheel or something, or overreaction, or a little bit of a panicked move that maybe you wouldn't otherwise.
Definitely, it's a whole different ball game to say the least. As we get the green flag one more time. Mikey Neal back to 4th place after he'd got up to 2nd. Here comes Jim Locking and Brandon Dorsett. And everybody did come down pit road. I want to make that very clear that Everyone is on 4 to 5 laps, actually 5 to 6 laps on their tires. So everyone came down pit road that time. And here we are back in a different situation here as Mikey Neal does get by Jim Locking. But Brandon Dorsett has quite a bit of damage. They do not have fast repairs here. So I'm pretty sure, well, there you go. You see what I was about to say. Mikey Neal's going to get by him fairly easy with that damage.
Yeah, I mean, damage here obviously isn't as big as some of your bigger tracks, but there's a little bit of downforce going on here, and of course, it can affect your handling. So, when you're going up against some of the top dogs in this league, like Jameer Mohammed or Mikey Neal, certainly having a damaged car will work against you. You need everything working for you going against guys like that.
Yeah, you definitely do. And I said Mikey Neal was able to get by him. He's actually not been able to. Makes you wonder if that VR is working against him a little bit here. As like you said, you see things you don't normally see. When you are on a track like this, is so as skinny as this track is, you dive it into the corner, you see just how close you really are to that corner, how close you really are to the other car. It can kind of get to you a little bit. It's, you realize just how small that space is, that before without that VR headset, you would just kind of send it in there, and not really notice where you really are. So a lot of things could be going on here as Mikey Neal's trying to get by him for second place.
Yeah, Brandon Dorsett doing a good job of running that high line, but he's actually kind of running on middle line too. He is not giving Mikey Neal any room to push up off that corner. And that's huge. That's really kind of how, and just as I say it, it looks like you actually let Mikey Neal by, but, you get in later stages of these races, you want to hold somebody off front, that's exactly what you got to do. You can't let him get that run up the corner. You got to hold him down. Make him wait to pick that throttle up.
Yeah, because like you said, later on in the run, you will slide up a little bit on these tires. It's just kind of part of this track, the way it works. You will push up, and if they don't give you that room to push up, if you are a smart enough driver like Mikey is, he knows, hey, I'm going to push up a little bit. I can't go in there. Not saying anyone's dumb out there, but, you get those inexperienced drivers that don't realize what this car is going to do, as some of them do, and they may put it in there, and that's when you're going to see those wrecks happen, is when a driver overdrives how that car can handle on those older tires.
Yeah, and, this is a track where you do that, man. That's how you run here. You overdrive it. You find the limit by finding the wall. It's pretty uncommon to see a clean car or a clean right side to a car that's running good here at this track. If you haven't at some point run that thing down the side of the wall there coming off one of those corners, chances are you were either way up front the whole race or you didn't have a good race.
Yeah, definitely that. And this is, like, on that same note, this is one of those tracks. Ooh, as the 77 gets way out of shape there of Justin Starr. Oh, and he tags us, the 101, or pulls it, or the 101 of David Gainford going around, though. He is off the racing surface, so no caution so far. Will a caution come out if he doesn't straighten the car in the right direction before he gets on that track? It may, but it looks like he's going to do it. And we will not see a caution as he's actually sitting on the entrance of pit road. But he gets it going, so no caution will come out for the 101 of David Gainforth. But that could have resulted in an end-of-line penalty for the driver that spun him there. But what I was just about to say before that happened, though, is, this is the next to last race of the season, and this is a track where tempers will get flared when those fenders get bent, and that could carry over to next week.
Yeah, this is short tracks are tough. Bristol, in particular, Martinsville's another one. You always want to feel good about your races. You want to feel good about your racing buddies, and these short tracks, they're tough. You always end up bumping and banging and beating on somebody, or somebody's beating on you, and man, they're just it's tough to come out of here and look at everybody with a smile on your face, unless you're the guy at the front of that podium there at the end of this race.
It definitely it is extremely hard. And this is kind of track where, too, as we're watching drivers race together here, where, you know, it's weird how this track works, trying to figure out the best way to put this at. You know, if you have multiple incidents on a track, this track is funny about it, how, you know, if someone you really don't care for to begin with spins you, they did it on purpose, they meant to wreck you. But if your buddy does it or your teammate, you know, oh, it was just a racing deal. When in reality, both of them were probably just a racing deal. But this track, like you said, because of the short track and the way short tracks are, how you take stuff is totally different than any other track.
Well, you're just on this track, it's in something like Martinsville too. You're not going to get anywhere by being a nice guy. It just isn't going to happen. If you're a nice guy, the only place you're going is to the back. So you're going to bump into guys. You're going to pull off slide jobs that they think are a little aggressive, and they're going to have to check up on the brakes, or you know, you're going to be trying to time a run off a corner like we saw earlier and get right into somebody's bumper because you mistimed it. But if you don't race aggressively at a track like this, then you know, that's where you end up in the back. Because somebody else is going to aggressively race next to you, and they're going to take those positions. They're going to do exactly what you didn't do. And that's what's hard about these tracks. Got to have that aggressive mindset, and then, you know, you've got to be able to forget it after the race.
Yeah, you definitely do. You got to use that typical racer's short-term memory and forget about it and move on. Right now, just to update here, as we are actually 10 laps past the halfway point now. We currently have Brandon Young, Dan Butler, David Gainforth, and Jason Covington, and Brian Dorsey as well. They are on the track, currently laps down. Matthew Ellis and Brian Bizzle, they are currently out of this race. They have disconnected due to different issues. Bruce Clay, Scotty Zerk, Sterling Smith, and Justin Starr, they, for all intents and purposes, are being scored as out of this race. However, they are on the pit road, but they have got out of their cars, so for scoring records, they are scored as out of this race, and most likely will probably not make it back without a fast repair. They're going to be on pit road for quite some time.
Yeah, and I want to point out, I don't know what Jamir Muhammad, if he was saving or if something happened, but he was way out front. He was 2 seconds on Mikey, probably about 3.5 on Brandon Dorsett, and these guys have run him down pretty easily. So now Jamir's getting into a little bit of lap traffic, so I don't know if we had some tire conservation going on there or he just got out of his rhythm, but Mikey Neal, and in particular Mikey Neal, he's coming. He's right there. He's right beside him, already looking to the inside here.
Yeah, he definitely is. And we'll watch this battle here for a little bit here. And I want to point out, too, while we don't harp on iRating too much, it really doesn't mean a whole lot. As you could come to iRacing and never touch an official race in your life and be a rookie for the rest of your life. But these, according to iRacing and how they rank people, these are the two highest ratings here, both A-class, both over 4,000 iRating here, which means they have spent a lot of time racing on iRacing in official races, although that means nothing here in league races. But aside from that, they are the two most winningest drivers, to my knowledge anyway, here in RACECORE. So this is like a trend. We see this more races than not, these two up front battling for the win.
Yeah, and it's been tremendous to watch these two over the last year. I started calling races, I think, with you on RACECORE about a year ago. And, you know, Mir Muhammad and Mikey Neal both weren't front of the pack guys. They were both struggling, looking at top 5 finishes. And both of these guys just went to work. And to see them progress and how good they've gotten is just amazing. These guys are two super competitive and just hard-working guys. And man, have we got to see them grow over the last year as racers.
That we have. To answer the question, when do they become pro? They actually have a special race series on here called Road to Pro. I believe you start with the trucks, if I'm not mistaken. and kind of work your way through, but you actually go through a series called Road to Pro, and you earn that pro license, and then once you get that, you actually can start looking at getting into the Peak Antifreeze series and stuff like that. But that is not an easy task to do. I believe they only take like 40 drivers to the Peak Antifreeze out of over 55,000 people here on iRacing.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. To get your pro, they've got a open setup truck leagues that run on Tuesday nights, kind of the whole length of the regular NASCAR season. I think from February, into that October, November timeframe. Not sure exactly when it ended. I think it was in October. But yeah, they run open setup trucks, and I believe you got to finish at about the top 20 to get that pro license, and then if you want to move on to like the Peak Antifreeze series or something like that, which obviously they just announced, by the way, $100,000 in prizes this year, so that thing's getting huge. But then to get in there, you've got to run, I think, a 12-week or 8-week, some season in the Xfinity cars, again, open setups, and then place kind of like in the top 10 of that in order to even qualify for the Peak Antifreeze.
Yeah, and it really, that's probably the best way to go about getting into the Peak Antifreeze, is you have to be able to tune. What really, the downside to that is there are people in here, I can't say 100% they would be competitive, but, it would be cool. Like people like Jameer and Mikey, as we see a big wreck between the 51 and the 96, they recover from it right in front of Mikey Neal. But, people like some of these drivers and others we have in Broadcast League, if they had the team and people to help them with setups, could probably be competitive in that Peak Antifreeze series.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good drivers on here that don't build setups or don't have the support. Absolutely, and quite frankly, it's not something that's easy to get into and learn. We run an open setup league over there in the Northwest Racing Series, and we have to put a lot of time and effort into teaching guys how to build setups. But to my knowledge, there aren't that many more places where you can go and learn how to do that in a league. So, and it is a big component. You either got to have people on your team that can build top-notch setups and to be a top-notch driver. So, or you've got to be able to do both. So, not easy. And, I talk to Mike Neal once in a while out of RACECORE there, just because he's a great kid. And, I know he's beaten several pros in open races. So I know that he's a caliber of driver that can compete with some of the pros. And by extension, watching Jameer Muhammad race and the way him and Mike can go back and forth, we know Jameer Muhammad's at that caliber too. So not saying they could be pros, but they can certainly sit down and race with those guys and not be embarrassed at all. They're either at that level or very close to it.
Yeah, definitely are. And we do have Mike asking if we can hear the fluttering noise. Yes, that is Jeff's mic here. We are tweaking on it, working on it here, trying to get it sorted out. But we'd already started with it, so we decided to go ahead and finish the race with it. And while you were talking about that, actually, Craig Covington just, I believe, incident out of the race. Him and the 51 were just beating each other's cars to death over here. And I believe the 96 of Craig Covington actually hit his 17 point limit, so he is out of the race as the caution did come out once again. So very interesting that he, I believe, is out of this race due to incident points.
Yeah, that's actually not uncommon for Bristol too. We've seen that in this series a couple times. Pretty easy to have those two X's rack up. And as for the fluttering noise, apologize for that. Wasn't sure we could get that fixed here before the race, but did do a little bit of work to try to get rid of it. Unfortunately, reared its ugly head in the middle of this race again.
Yeah, it's definitely a strange one. We're trying to get sorted out, but we'll eventually get sorted out. You never know. Like you said earlier, it's electronics. You never know what you're going to get with them. Some days they're your best friend. Some days you want to throw it out the window. In my case, this computer weighs entirely too much, so I would just try to tip it over and just toss it out the window. There's no way I could lift it, but all jokes aside, we will get it sorted out. It could be a little issue or big issue either way. We'll put our heads together, and I'm sure we'll figure it out sooner or later.
Well, I just don't do enough of these races with you anymore to keep this stuff, so we're dusting off equipment every time I jump in to do one of these, and, you know, we're end up chasing ghosts.
Yeah, we definitely could. And it looks like we got the 555, the 31, the 99 that are going to get the wave around and get some laps back here. But while we have a moment, I do believe the pace lights are still on the cars. We're going to take a look and see for sure. They are indeed. So we're going to step away, take a quick break, and we'll be right back after this commercial break. Green flag is back in the air once again. Sorry about that delay. We were working on it a little bit here, trying to sort it out. But someone you're familiar with here, want to point this out. After the pit stops here, Josh Coley sitting in second place. But here comes Mikey Neal once again.
Yeah, Josh Coley, good racer. You know, I think if Josh Coley has one issue, it's keeping that long run underneath him. But you know, here on the short track, man, he's going to have his hands full with Mikey Neal. So we'll see what Josh Coley can do here. But Mikey Neal, pretty good veteran on this. And you put some new tires on that car, Mikey Neal, man, he's going to be tough running that inside. Yeah. Best he can do right now is just stay in it on that outside and try to hold him off.
Definitely is. And I do want to point out here that we're going to go back, way back in this field here, that we said for all intents and purposes that Justin Starr was out of the race unless he was able to get those fixed, get that damage repaired. He is still being scored back in 21st place here at the moment, but after 45 minutes on pit road, he is back out on the track. Even though it does say out there on the ticker, that will update here after he completes a lap or two, and he is back in this race here, trying to gain some position, and so is Scotty Zerk in the 31. He had a 33-minute pit stop, but he is back out on the track as well, being scored in 16th place.
Yeah, I'm not trusting my timing screen right now, but showing a lot of guys a lot of laps down, and you know, Justin Starr being one of them. But like you said, there's a few laps, a few places to be gained even for Justin Starr right now.
Yeah, there definitely is. He is 3 laps now behind Bruce Clay in 20th. So, and Bruce Clay not being on the track, he could pass him. We'll see. Yeah, 50 laps to go this time by at the line. He could even pass Brian Bizzle. And we'll see. Then it would be Sterling Smith, who's sitting back in 18th place. He is currently on the track, so he could potentially gain 3 spots if he can stay on the track and get by these guys, and I have a feeling he will, seeing how both of them are off the track and have sent it home here tonight. So he's definitely got his work cut out for him, and he's got a pretty damaged car, but he could definitely do it. But he's got to get by some of these guys first here. Scotty Zerk, pretty beat up car as well, but all the damage has pretty much stayed in the back of this field. I think for the most part, these front cars have stayed pretty clean.
Well, Jameer Muhammad, he just seems to just shoot out of there like a lightning bolt every time we get a restart. So he's able to stay pretty clean, but Mikey Neal's been running them down as we get further into these runs. With Josh Coley in his way, though, right now, we'll have to see if that happens this time. I think Josh Coley is going to be Jameer Muhammad's best friend, but we got some pretty clean cars behind him.
Yeah, I agree. Jameer Muhammad's best friend is Josh Coley, trying to hold off Mikey Neal, because Josh Coley is not one of those, it's not one of those cases where he didn't take tires and he's going to be quite a bit slower. He is, however, going a lot higher on the track than Mikey Neal, and that allows Mikey Neal to reel him in very quickly. There's really two different distinct lines here. And like you said earlier, Josh Coley really needs to get further down on that track, maybe the middle groove if he can, because he has given Mikey Neal all the room in the world he needs right now to slide that car up and get around the corner. And if he keeps doing that, he will be able to pass him pretty easy.
Well, actually, until he hit the wall, he was running a really good line there. He was running that line up against the wall that lets you get just a massive run off that corner onto the straightaway. And so you either got to run that or you got to pinch these guys down on the corner. But with Josh Coley hitting the wall there, I'm not sure he's going to be able to hang on to it again. He definitely can't hit the wall again, but that is, if you can run right up against that wall like that, man, you can just really stick that thing and get that run down the straight.
And it looks like they're going to get by the 99 here. Justin Starr, who did take 20th spot from Bruce Clay, who is still sitting on pit road with currently a 46-minute pit stop, trying to get that damage repaired. So unlike the real racing counterpart here, where they only give you, I believe, 5 minutes now? If you can't repair the car in 5 minutes, you're done. iRacing does not enforce that rule. You can sit there for as long as you need to try to get it repaired and come back out in this race. And when you're running for a championship, even though that's obviously Bruce Clay is not running for the actual championship right now, early in this season, every point does count.
Absolutely, every point counts when you're running for a championship. And you got the guys that are there at the end. Not everybody gets wins, but there's a lot of guys that are running for a championship. You don't have to have a win to get there, but you got to collect every point along the way.
Yeah, you definitely do. And now they're starting to run into traffic here as Mikey Neal's going to take it 3 wide. He gets a little loose, but he does get to the outside. That right there not only was probably the craziest move I've ever seen Mikey make, that right there is a move that shows how skilled this young driver is. Not to mention, he might not have been able to do that without a VR headset.
I don't know had the VR helped him or not. I mean, that was just a bold move from a bold driver. He didn't really have a choice. Josh Coley messed up by going low. That lap car stayed high, kind of messed these guys up. But Josh Coley just left too much room going low there, trying to get around him. And there was enough window for Mikey Neal to slip in, and that's what we talked about. If you want to win, you got to be aggressive at these tracks. That's exactly what Mikey was.
He definitely was aggressive, and it paid off for him. And now Josh Coley still in third place, but he's stuck behind the 76 of John Van Varelis as the caution comes out. And this time it's for, is it for Jason Covington? I'm not sure. We're going to go back and take a look here and see who it was for. I don't think it was. He's been on pit road for quite some time now. So I'm wondering if it was for possibly the 101 of David Gainforth.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm having a few too many problems to be able to check that out, so I'll just have to wait for your update on that one. I was watching that battle up front there, and man, what a battle that was.
It was indeed, and we're going up here to see the 77, as I'm not sure what brought this caution out. We may never know. Indeed, what brought the caution out as they're slowing down, and I think we just found it as they are coming on to pit road now. So we're going to go back, take one more look, and I believe it was the 78 of John Van Varelis, as I saw him down on the track. There it was right there, gets to the back of the 9 of Brian Dorsey and spins it around, hits the commitment cone, and that will bring out the caution here. As meanwhile, everybody has gone down pit road here, except for John Van Verellis, who is being scored as our race leader, but he is coming down pit road this time, so that will give the lead back to Jamir Muhammad.
Yeah, I guess John just staying out there to lead a lap with 30 to go or so. Would have been tempting to stay out there and just see what your tires got. It's going to be hard to come from very far back there to catch these leaders.
It definitely is, and we got Mike in chat. He is sending prayers to your computer.
Well, thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Maybe I just need to get it out here to these RACECORE races here and sit second chair at Charles more often and just keep the dust from building up on it.
Yeah, we tried to give you a break there, and you know, we were working you to death, and apparently maybe we shouldn't have, because now your computer doesn't know what to do. It's kind of freaking out on you over here, saying, I haven't been here in a while. What do I do from here? But what we do want to do is give an update here. We have 30 laps to go. I want to point that out. Here we are with our 9th caution of the night for 43 laps. So still the majority of this race has been under green flag conditions. So while we are under caution, we're going to step away here for just a moment. And when we get those lights off, we will go back on the mic. So we'll be right back here in just a few moments. All right, green flag is back in the air. We are racing once again. As usual, it's the only thing we've seen here tonight, really. Jamir Muhammad gets another huge lead right off the start. Although John Van Verellis has led 6 laps, Mikey Neal has led 1 lap. 166 laps led does go to Jamir Muhammad. But that could change. Mikey Neal all over his back bumper now, as he's about 3 to 4 car lengths behind. We may see a battle for the lead before this thing is done.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think Jamir's probably wishing Josh Cully was in front of Mikey Neal again, because he just lost his best friend. And it's going to be hard for him to get out to one of those 2-second leads there when he's got nobody in between those two. So I expect to see one heck of a battle these next 25 laps.
Definitely could, and we're getting reports in chat. We're watching chat since you're unable to. I like it. We got Jason saying that the fluttering noise, we should have said it was the VRN helicopter, or Mike saying it could have been the blimp, the VRN blimp up in the sky. So had we thought about that, we could have really come up with some good reasons.
I just didn't want to tell him. I thought we were keeping that under wraps, Charles.
Well, we tried, but we didn't do that good. But speaking of trying, somebody's trying really hard to get the lead, and that's that number 8 machine, who is going to the inside, and he will slide up, but he had to slide up too much. He had to let off the gas a little bit, and that let Jamir Muhammad get that run off the high side that he needed. But I think Mikey Neal's been holding back a little bit here. I think he has something for Jamir Muhammad. And here we are. It's going to be 20 to go here at the line. And I think we're setting up ourselves for a really, really good finish.
Yeah, there's no holding back now, right? You got to make this pass while the tires are still fresh enough and can grip the bottom of that track. As you see, actually, Jamir is running that bottom right now. So there's still enough grip in those tires to pull that off. Bottom's still the fastest way around, and Mikey's going to have to figure out how to make this work, and Jamir's going to be careful. He's going to go down the bottom too many times. He might get stuck down there. find out that those tires gave up. So we've got a nice little chess match going here.
Yeah, it's going to be who can outwit the other driver, you know. I hate to relate this to the show Survivor for anybody who's out there has seen that, but racing is a lot like Survivors, especially on a short track like this. You really have to outlast, outwit, and out-survive the competition at a track like this. You know, that pretty much sums up Bristol Motor Speedway as Mikey Neal gets loose, and he will not bring out the caution, but he is going to lose several spots.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. I was, first of all, surprised they got to lap traffic that fast, and don't know if there was a bit of a quick reaction. We said things in VR can come up on you faster than you expect, and you can make those reflexive reactions that you're not trained yet, you know, the first time out in VR, and I have to wonder if that didn't have something to do with it.
That definitely could have, you know, definitely not a rookie mistake, but possibly maybe a rookie VR headset mistake. I wouldn't even know if I'd classify it as a mistake. Just something that, you know, could happen. And it did happen, and this time he gets into the outside wall. I think what we're seeing now, that outside wall wasn't a VR issue. That's Mikey is disappointed now, and now he could be possibly overdriving it just a little bit, trying to make up for what just happened.
Well, and at the same time, I saw that 77 sitting backwards at the start-finish line on the apron, too. I was surprised the caution didn't come out, but he kept it on the apron. And, you know, maybe we're at this point where we got enough heat in this track, and I'm not sure about these setups. Maybe they're just getting loose.
They are in the 77 back on the apron again. And this time it looks like he's going to bring it down to pit road. So it looks like he's going to park it here for tonight. We started with 21 drivers. We currently have about 15 on the track. So we've actually lost several drivers out of this race. Justin Starr, however, has picked up a few spots, as we mentioned a little bit earlier tonight. And we'll see. He is actually 4 laps behind Scotty Zerk, so he'll actually possibly get to 17th before this race is over. But the question is, well, I was about to say, does Josh Coley have anything for Jamir Muhammad, but he just scraped the outside wall again. I think with Josh scraping the wall, Mikey Neal just getting loose the way he did, I think that may have just sealed the deal here with 8 laps to go for Jamir Muhammad.
Yeah, we'll see. We've got a lot of cars with handling issues right now, but if you're Jamir Muhammad and got a 2.5-second lead, or a 2-second lead, you just kind of want to nurse this thing to the finish line, but still a lot of time for something to happen, and it's so easy for a car to get away from you here at Bristol.
Yeah, it definitely is. And it's the last thing you want to see. Hopefully Jamir can hang on to it here. Like you said, lap cars could pose a problem. Most of these guys are fairly good, like the 10 here of Jason Covington. As you see right there, I didn't think any issue there. He let him go without a fight. He knows that's a leader coming. You're not going to battle him. You're 23 laps down. There's no point. However, the 57, who is 1 lap down, he's a newer driver. I don't know how he's going to react to the leader, so this could be interesting to see here with 5 laps to go left in this race.
Yeah, and some of these drivers aren't comfortable running that lower line here. They want to stay to that top line here, and it makes it hard to pass when you're on those older tires down low. So that can cause problems too, as we see Jamir Muhammad having to take it low to get around that 57.
Yeah, he does do that, and he gets by him with 4 to go. Josh Coley hanging in there to 2nd place, and Mikey Neal sitting in 3rd. Brandon Dorsett, considering the fact his car looks like it went through a minefield early in this race, holding on to a solid top 5 finish, and so is Jim Locking. However, his car looks much better, doesn't have any damage to it for the most part. I don't see any. So, again, 2 laps to go. I just don't see anybody catching on. There it is. The white flag is in the air, presented by Northwest Racing Series. So just half a track away for Jamir Muhammad.
Yeah, and look who's back. Going to make a battle here for 2nd place already.
He is right on his back bumper. The checkered flag is in the air. So your race winner will be Jamir Muhammad. Josh Coley barely hanging on to 2nd place from Mikey Neal. That was a really good race for Mikey, and what a comeback after that almost spin there to come back to still stay 3rd place, but right on the back bumper of Josh Coley. All right, it looks like they're getting it all sorted out here, so we'll go ahead and go through. And I think we just lost you, Jeff. We're hearing bits and pieces of what's coming through, but I think we have officially lost Jeff here in the mic.
I don't know if I'm still there or not, Charles. I think it hung in there for a little bit, but it may have died.
Well, we got you now, so we'll see if do we still got you?
I'm all froze up. I don't know if you have me now. It made it to the end of the race, but I think it's giving out on me now.
Well, we can hear you. Not sure if you can hear us, but we'll let you go get that sorted out. I'm sure we'll be over chatting with you later, see if we can get it sorted out. But we'll go ahead and get to the post-race show, of course. We'll go ahead and get to your unofficial race results. Here for tonight's race, getting the win is going to be the 2 of Jameer Muhammad. In second place is going to be the 33 of Josh Coley. Third place is going to be the 8 of Mikey Neal. Fourth place will be the 5 of Brandon Dorsett. And fifth place will be the 91 of Jim Locking. Sixth place will be John Van Varellis. Seventh place, Dan Butler. Eighth place, Jeremy Morrison. Ninth place, David Gainforth. And 10th place will be Brandon Young. 11th place will be Butch Frazier. 12th place, Justin Spear. 13th, Jason Covington. 14th, Brian Dorsey. 15th, Craig Covington. 16th, Sterling Smith. And 17th, there we go. We'll go to Justin Starr. 18th, Scotty Zirk. 19th, Matthew Ellis. 20th, we'll go to Brian Bizzle. And 21st, we'll go to Bruce Clay, rounding out your field here tonight for your unofficial race results. That being said, we'll be right back here in just a moment as we are going to go ahead and get to the post-race show, so give us just one moment. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, here with the post-race show as we have our top 3 drivers here in the booth, and we'll talk to them starting, of course, in third place, led one lap, had a interesting night here running for, I believe, what is his first league race with the VR headset. So first off, congrats on third place here tonight, Mikey Neal driving that number 8 machine. What was it like in the VR headset, and to come out here to Bristol of all tracks to drive that with that VR headset? What was it like out there for you?
It was super fun. I had a great time. You get in class. This is a track where you can get really up close with everybody in the wall, and for this being the first track I got to race it at, it was awesome. And I had a great time starting in the back. I had to make my way through the field, and it was a fun race. I had a great time with it, and obviously I was happy to bring it home third.
Well, definitely a up and down night here. The question we have to ask here, of course, is had you not gotten loose there and almost spun it out, do you think you had anything for Jamir Muhammad?
That was a question I was asking myself. I had a great car in the long run. I was hoping that we get more long runs, and obviously we didn't at the beginning. But once we got in the long run, I was able to get to them. And, maybe not. Obviously, there's lap traffic, so you never know what happens. But, all that happened is that we were just trying to get around that lap car. And my fault, I checked up. And usually when I check up, the car kind of, you lose your momentum. And then I got loose. I did it exactly earlier in the race when I wrecked everybody. And I did it there, too, and obviously almost spun. Luckily, I saved it and was able to bring it home third.
You definitely saved it, put it in third place. A good points night here for you for the championship. Overall, just an outstanding run. We know you got some sponsors and shout-outs, so who would those be for that third place finish?
We got to thank our sponsors, Iracing Drivers World, Global Building Contractors, Dan Butler Designs, and Gold Cube. Thank you guys for sponsoring all of our leagues. Love having you guys partnering with us. Also got to thank my teammates, KM, PRG. Thank you guys. Got to thank you guys for broadcasting every race. Love having you and Jeff, especially Jeff here when we can. Thanks to my mom and dad. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Got to thank Dan, Justin. They do a great job hosting every single race. Love having them. Thank you all, and then thanks to all the viewers. Love having you guys every week tune in, and got to congratulate Jamir on the win, and then Josh Coley. He started. I'm pretty sure he started in the back with me, and he was able to get up to second. So congrats to him.
Definitely congrats on third place. And speaking of second place, Josh Coley driving the number 33. Couldn't quite get to the lead here, but also, as Mikey just said, opted to not qualify, start in the back, worked your way through this field. That has become a kind of your signature here. I'm wondering if you maybe learned it from Brian Barnes over in Northwest, where you don't qualify and you work your way through the field. It worked out for you here tonight. Are you going to keep doing that to work your way here and good finishes?
Oh, in the new leagues, I like to do that just to get familiar with people and how they race and what's going on and that kind of thing. And tonight, I kind of figured there might be a few accidents, and so I just wanted to try to steer clear of all that as much as I could. And I kind of got lucky. Didn't have much damage at all, so it's a good night.
Definitely, it was a great night for you here to finish in second place. Is always a good night, of course. So overall, what were your thoughts coming into this track? It is awesome. It is Bristol. It's a short track. So, do you have to kind of fight those feelings of, hey, he did that intentional to me, or do you just let it go here and what happens happens?
Well, I didn't have a whole lot of that where I was racing, so I didn't get aggravated at anyone. But and I was able to avoid everything for the most part. I did get into the back of one guy, and I really didn't mean to, but I think that kind of ended his race. So, and it's kind of a Bristol deal. Everybody's on top of each other, and I don't think anyone's trying to hit each other, but it does happen.
Indeed, it can happen. 9 out of 10 times it's not intentional. That being said, though, we know you got some sponsors and shout-outs, so who would those be for that solid second-place finish?
Oh, I got to thank the iRacing Drivers World, Global Building Contractors, the Dan Butler Race Designs, and I believe it's Gold Cube is the other sponsor, and VRN for broadcasting our races.
All right. Well, again, congrats on the second place finish, and hopefully we still have Jeff with us here as Mike's holding out for the one last thing, as I know Jameer's been wanting this so bad. He's actually talked to me and said, man, I need Jeff. He's my hero. Okay, so it may not have gone quite like that, but we have the Jeff and Jameer show back. So, Jeff, we will hand it over to you for our race winner.
Right on, man. It has been way too long. But, Jameer, welcome back to the Jeff and Jameer show. This is not on you. It's on me. I've been the one that's not been showing up. I've been watching. You've been here plenty of times.
I heard you're on tonight, so I had to make sure I got the podium.
Well, congratulations, man. What a fantastic race. You pretty much, for lack of a better word, you about dominated this thing. I think you led just about every lap. There was a couple that you didn't lead. You shot out of every restart like a cannon. You built up the leads. At one point, we saw Mikey Neal look like he was reeling you in from a couple seconds back, but we got a caution. And you really weren't challenged again after that until the end of the race. We also had Josh Coley coming through the field. I know at one point you had to see him and your relative coming, but I think the only time you really ever saw anybody that would be of any concern was below you in the relative. So congratulations on a pretty dominating performance at Bristol here tonight, and why don't you kind of walk us through that?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Jeff. It was just it started off with just being on the front row, track position all night. It was just the key. I was able to, like you said, get off good restarts because I got lane choice, and being in front, I was able to get off good restarts and get about a second lead each time, and kind of run my pace, run my line, and whereas everyone else couldn't do what they wanted to do. So Bristol is not one of my favorite tracks. It's not one of the tracks I'm really good at. Mikey is so good around here, and I'm trying to learn a lot from Mikey when I'm here. But he was still faster than me, at least like halfway through the run, and to the end of the run, he was still faster than me. I was hoping to get a big enough lead so I could hold him off by the time he got to me. But yeah, it's so hard to pass here. You pretty much got to be a lot faster than someone to pass them, or pump them out of the way. So I felt like I kind of got everything worked out perfectly for me with the track position, qualifying up front, Mikey being in the back, and just running my pace. And everything just fell to way I needed it. So
well. It did get a little bit hairy there towards the end. We did see Mikey there on that last restart. He was able to run you down and get beside you. And, we always have this debate on this track when we're talking inside line versus high line. You can make that inside line work until those tires wear. And unfortunately, if you're down there, you don't know when that's going to happen, and then you're toast. Or that outside line, man, if you run that wall just right, you get such a run down the straightaway. So, we saw you switching lanes up a little bit there when you were battling Mikey. What's kind of going through your head? What was the preferred lane, and what was going on with the lane choices there as you tried to hang on in the first place?
Yeah, so Mikey runs the low line around here, and he runs it really, really well. So whenever I'm here, I'm trying to practice and trying to run it as well as he does, and I don't know how he does it so consistently. And I just felt like I needed to master the low line around here. Everyone else runs the top line. And I do feel like I wear out the right front tire a little bit more faster on the high line here. So I guess in the beginning of the runs, trying to keep it down low as long as I can. And then I was kind of switching up lanes when I went up high, mostly just to hold off Mikey as taking the outside line away from him. So.
Well, it worked, man. You made Mikey work for it, and at the end of the day, you got a little bit loose there. Spun that car, and you were able to cruise home for the win, holding off Josh Coley. So congratulations once again. Glad we got a chance to do this, and I'm sure you got some shout-outs, man. So have at it, man. This mic is all yours.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Happy New Year to you guys up at VRN. I'd like to shout out to Global Building Contractors, Gold Cube, Dan Butler Designs, and our series sponsor, Iracing Drivers World. Shout out to my family and friends for watching, and just everyone watching. Have a happy New Year, safe one. Thanks.
Absolutely. And big shout out to your wife and your dad, who I know are always watching too. And we'll throw this back to Charles.
All right, well, that will just about do it here for tonight's race. Of course, we want to thank all the sponsors that came on board here for the 2018 season for this series and for the broadcast. Those do include Global Building Contractors, iRacing Drivers World, Dan Butler Designs, and Gold Cube here on the racing side of things. And on the broadcast side of things, a big shout out to Northwest Racing Series, Wolves Beard Co. Beard Balm, SimSpeedShop.com, iBug, and recently coming on board themselves here at RACECORE Online Racing League. On behalf of everyone here at RACECORE Online Racing League and Virtual Racing Network, if we don't see you, which I believe we will not see you until after the New Year's, have a safe, especially safe and happy New Year, and we will see you at the next broadcast.
This copyrighted broadcast may not be used in any form without the authorized written consent of Virtual Racing Network. VRN would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.